homeopath and health freedom advocate. She's going to be talking with us about the ABCs of homeopathy. 3 homeopathic remedies to add to your home wellness and first aid kit. And take it away, Ananda. Thank you so much. Welcome. You do have to hold it quite
really close to my face.
I can possibly
We can't do like a micless thing. Bring everyone close in.
Video. You want to do a video?
You can do it.
Okay.
Do it.
All right. No. All right. I did bring my notes. Are you guys familiar with homeopathy? Is there anyone who's used it?
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't ever used it? Or has no idea what it is? Awesome. Well, this is a very, very introductory chat. Because I'm just going to talk about some really basic things. But homeopathy is a 200-year-old art, and it was founded by a physician named Samuel Hahnemann in Germany. And he was very, very, very disillusioned by the medical practice of the day. He studied medicine. He had worked really hard because he came from a really poor family and found mentors and managed to go to university. And came out of it going, oh my God, we're killing people with this stuff. What is this? And so he gave up on the practice of medicine. And being the brilliant man that he was, he spoke 8 languages, and he started focusing on translation. And he started translating a lot of medical texts. And one day, he came across a text that talked about the bark of a tree called Cinchona officinalis. And we call it China in homeopathy, and it's from that bark of this Peruvian tree that they discovered quinine, and quinine is something that we use against malaria. It's an anti-malarial, like tonic water. They add quinine to it, and it was used as an anti-malarial in India. That's why they love their gin and tonics, the British, living in India. So with this text that he was reading and was hired to translate said that quinine had anti-malarial properties because of its astringent qualities. And he thought to himself, well, that doesn't sound quite right, because there's a lot of stuff that's astringent and doesn't act as an anti-malarial. It doesn't help people. So he decided to take some of this China or Peruvian bark himself, and he slowly started upping his dose. And what he started noticing was that he started to get malaria symptoms. At the time, he was also reading lots of ancient texts. Hippocrates, for example, spoke a lot about like cures like. And here he was seeing it work in front of his eyes. Like cures like. The China seems to create intermittent fevers, and that's what we use to cure it. So he started expanding on this and working on it. And at the time, what they knew about were poisons. What the different poisons did to people. And so he started working with these poisons to heal people, but he didn't want to poison them. So he started diluting these poisons and started finding that the more he diluted them, the stronger the healing effect of this was. And being an alchemist, he also brought in this idea of succussion. And succussion is the process of really intense shaking, or he would slam the glass bottle with a solution in it against a Bible. That's what he was using, but I use it for both sometimes. And so the succussion became one of the vital aspects of producing a homeopathic remedy. So now we have this poison that's been serially diluted over and over again. You can dilute by 1 in 100, which we call C, by the Roman numeral C. You can dilute 1 in 10, which is X. There's also different types of potencies, LMs and Ks, but the basic ones are Cs and Xs. And mostly what you'll find at a homeopathic pharmacy are Cs. And when it's our standard potencies are 6C, which means it's been serially diluted 1 drop of solution to 99 drops of water 6 times. 30C, it's gone through that process 30 times, with 100 succussions in between each potency. So according to chemistry today, this stuff must be impossible because we go way beyond Avogadro's number, which tells us how many particles are in a mole, molecules are in a mole. And we've gone beyond that, so there should be absolutely no source material in this stuff. So the question is, how does it work? And we've made a lot of advancements in that field, and if you want to talk about it later, I'm happy to. But what we do know is it does work, and we have thousands of studies that tell us that it does work. So what I love about homeopathy and what I'm focusing my career, my work on now is getting off-grid. Because homeopathy is its own self-contained healing system, which for acute care, everyone can learn. You can have your kid at home. Those remedies never go bad. We have Hahnemann's remedies. I got to see them in his clinic in Germany, and they still work. 200 years later, they're still effective. So this is a remedy that it is a remedy that helps you take control of your own health. So I highly encourage people to try it, to give it a go, and incorporate it into their lives. So we are going to talk about, originally I had ABC, which was arnica, belladonna, and calendula, but I changed my mind. And we are going to start with arnica. Has anyone not heard of arnica? Not heard. You don't know what arnica is. Awesome. You don't know what arnica is. Arnica is also used herbally, and it grows here in the mountains. It's also called wolfsbane. No, it's aconite. It's called leopard's bane. And they're little yellow flowers. And here, you can go into town and buy arnica gels, arnica tinctures. And arnica is, I never leave home without, actually I left home without it now. But I never leave home without it. It's an incredible remedy for trauma and for shock. It's a remedy for soft tissue bruising. So any aches, pains, inflammation, after accidents, this is an incredible remedy. Lots of studies show that it brings down inflammation really quickly. You can apply it topically, you can take it internally. And someone gets in a car accident, any kind of mental shock, trauma, arnica is a great remedy to give. Arnica has a lot of roles. We have these remedies that we call polycrests, and they're like the top 100 remedies that are good for a million things. And so that makes them really versatile, which is why I wanted to talk about these remedies. So if you think about injury, one of the first remedies to reach for is arnica. Post-surgically, to help reduce inflammation, to help you heal, arnica. Don't take it before surgery, it's a blood thinner. And homeopathically, it might not cause any problems with thinning the blood, but you always want to be careful to avoid hemorrhaging. But after any kind of surgery, I give it to people 30C or 200C 3 times a day. It's one of our top remedies for concussions, too. And I got a concussion about 3 years ago. I hit my head on the dryer door. I'm not embarrassed at all. And I couldn't believe how badly I did this. It was the dryer door. And the pain was excruciating by that evening. I couldn't move. And I didn't have a high potency arnica. I had a 6C sitting around the house. It wasn't doing anything. Then a friend came by with a 10 of arnica, which means it's been diluted 10,000 times. And within 10 minutes, it would, the pain completely disappeared. So I can vouch for arnica and concussions personally. Arnica is also the post-workout lactic acid buildup remedy. If you've had a really intense workout, you know it's going to hurt the next day. You can take arnica. There's a company, Boiron, that makes arnica with lactic acid remedy. And my daughter was a gymnast, so I remember the first day after gymnastics, the kid couldn't move, and just a little bit of this. Soon the whole gym was taking it. So I highly recommend it that way. One thing with arnica is you do not want to put it on broken skin. It can lead to infections. So that is any questions about arnica.
anti-inflammatory, and I've had like really bad hay fever my whole life, and I found like anti-inflammatories always take my hay fever and allergies down. Has it been known to treat things like hay fever?
Arnica is not what you would go traditionally for hay fever. Now, there's a ton of anti-inflammatories in homeopathy, but in homeopathy we also talk about individualization. So you want to give the right remedy for the right set of symptoms, and we do have lots for hay fever. I'm going to talk about one next, actually. And sometimes, like, we have a whole slew of remedies if arnica doesn't work. We have Bellus perennis, we have calendula, we have, like, the amount of anti-inflammatories is amazing. And that's when, like, getting your first aid kit and learning the indications of different remedies can be really amazing. So the next remedy is going to be Apis mellifica. Does anybody know what Apis is made from? Can you guess from the name?
What's the question?
Apis.
¿Veneno de abeja?
Es una abeja entera. It's from a whole honeybee.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not vegan. I presented this to a number of vegans once, and they were like, oh, I killed a honeybee. And they were all sitting there eating the lentils, and I thought to myself, do you know how many insects died in the harvesting of your lentils?
And almond milk.
The amazing thing with homeopathy is it's so diluted that from one honeybee we're making millions and millions of doses. But we're talking about what cures like. So what do you think the honeybee remedy might be for?
Inflammation.
Yeah. Yes. So, like, we have keynotes associated with each remedy, and with Apis, we're looking at hot, stinging, swelling, inflammation. Hot pains that are better with cold. It's like any stings and bites, like here's like you got stung by a bee, or a wasp. It's a great remedy to bring down that inflammation. And what else do a lot of people have allergies to with pollen? But it's that bee allergy, right? A lot of people are allergic to bees, to the bee sting. So if you see that like kind of level of anaphylaxis allergy, this is one of the first remedies to hit. I mean, go get your EpiPen and get to the hospital, but maybe if you're taking the Apis along the way, you won't need to take the EpiPen, or once you're at the hospital, you'll be fine. So it's not the best remedy for hay fever, but it does work for some people, especially when it's like burning hot eyes. That's the keynote, or the nose is burning, or you get that like excoriating discharge where it's burning your upper lip. So I'm just going to read some notes here so I don't forget anything. So we're looking at swelling, edema, hot burning, and stinging pains, better with cold applications, worse with heat. Things like rapid swelling with itching. So you can also think of like seafood allergies or other kinds of allergies where people get the wheals forming on their bodies really quickly. Or a nettle rash. You've touched something that you like, let's talk poison ivy or poison oak or nettle, that kind of thing. Anaphylaxis where the tongue is swelling, the throat is starting to swell. It's really great for eye problems. So again, the seasonal allergies where your eyes are swollen, and with Apis it's especially the bottom lid of your eyes if you tend to get that symptom. It's a pretty sure bet that this remedy is going to help you, and light sensitivity. So the bright light starts to get really difficult. Also great for sore throats, and they have a splinter pain in their throat. Has anyone ever had that? I get that every time I get a sore throat. Like there's a splinter, and every time I swallow, it's this really sharp pain. So that is a good one. Okay. And it's a really important remedy in cystitis and bladder infections.
Are you talking about arnica right now?
I'm talking about Apis.
About Apis, okay.
Yeah.
I had stepped off, so I didn't know if you were still on.
Oh, no, we're talking about honeybee now.
That was my question too, yeah. Works with sore throat, you're saying that?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. But again, you're looking for the keynotes. Burning, stinging, pains, swelling. So an apis would feel better having a cold drink. It would feel really soothing on the throat.
What about in the case of a sunburn?
Sunburn, there's better. I would actually go for calendula for sunburn.
Okay. I put calendula on it when it first happened. But
Yeah. It depends. I think there's better remedies for sunburn, but it can't hurt to try. Yeah. Depends, like if they're getting, like, you know, those 3rd degree sunburns where you're getting the huge liquid filled
hers is
blisters.
from lime juice, and it's 2nd degree according to the doctor. Huge blisters.
Huge blisters. So you could try apis. I would look at cantharis.
And that's internal.
Internal. Yeah.
Thank you.
With the apis,
Yeah.
you take a bee and dry it and grind it up in a mortar and pestle,
Right.
or what do you do?
That's what they did originally. The laboratories did that. And you can make your own remedies. It's just a painful process. Like, I don't know if you saw my film last night.
No.
I show a little machine. Like, now we have machines to make the remedies and shake them up because, like, to get 200 dilutions and 100 succussions between each and to do it over and over it takes time. So something like apis, like a bee, like plants will start from tinctures. Actually, it depends on the methodology used, but a bee starts from trituration. So they put it in with a bunch of milk sugar and a mortar and pestle, and with milk sugar, lactose. Yeah. Don't worry, there's almost no lactose left at the end. And some places make vegan ones with just sucrose, but they're triturated, and there's this whole, like, how long you triturate in one direction, then you triturate it in the other, and then you take from there and you put it in more milk sugar and you triturate. And once it becomes soluble, then it's added to alcohol and goes into a solution. Okay, next. Oh, so yeah, cystitis. That's what I was like. Again, hot, burning, painful urination. It's one of the most important remedies for kidney infections. So, like, you could head for that first thing if anyone around you has a kidney infection. And the more intense, with homeopathy, the more intense the pain is, the higher potency you go. So with something like a kidney infection that's really severe, I would try to get 200C or 1M. So 200C, it's been diluted 200 times. 1M, it's 1,000. Okay. And joint problems, which we talked about. Yeah, like they use bee therapy to treat joints and arthritic issues.
They show you go and they stimulate.
Yeah.
I work with them, so like, I have a friend that he was like with arthritis, really, really strong. He started to work with bees, and he started to have the bee therapy. So he was like stimulating every part of his body that was really inflamed. And with time, he can walk, he can dance, he doesn't have like inflammation in the body.
Mother Nature's acupuncture.
Yeah, so he's also doing it.
Any questions on EPIS?
Why the lactose?
I think that's one of the main ingredients that was used in pharmacy back like 200 years ago, and that's what Hahnemann worked with. Like saying the remedy pellets that you see are made from lactose.
How does it come from? Where does it come from? How do they make this lactose to be used in remedies?
I don't know how where the powder, how it's processed, to be honest. I've seen how they turn it into pellets.
Artificial.
No, it's natural, it's milk sugar.
So
It's coming from cow milk.
Or goat, so they isolate it from milk and use it.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes from cow. The little bug. Yeah. I have some pellets if you guys want to look. And then like they put it in these machines that like shake it and sift it, and it turns into the little balls, and then they have filters to take so they can get different sized balls. And then we put our remedies on top of that. Sometimes here, more in Mexico, it's most popular to do just straight up liquids. But I grew up mostly with the pellets, And here in Mexico, they call them chochitos. Los chochos. In other parts, you don't want to say that in other parts of Latin America. It has other meanings. Okay, my next remedy is arsenicum album. And so, arsenicum, it's made from arsenic, white arsenic. So we talked about, like, these were the medicines 200 years ago. So, our first homeopathic remedies were the medicines back then. And you go to an old apothecary, or you see like pictures of antique pharmacies, and you'll see the vials, and they have all the names that are now our homeopathic remedies, like arsenic. And they were giving people straight up arsenic in those days as medicine. But arsenicum is, I think it's one of my favorite remedies here. It's incredibly versatile, and it's one of the key remedies for food poisoning, diarrhea, and vomiting. I take a dose with every bowel movement, every time you're vomiting. It's amazing. We were talking last night about something called homeoprophylaxis, which is using homeopathy to prevent disease. And someone was telling me about how they were in India during COVID, and they started handing out arsenicum album everywhere as a preventative to COVID. And India has had so many homeoprophylaxis campaigns all over the country. When I was last there, they were doing one for H1N1, and they were using arsenicum. So that seems to be the Indians' go-to prophylactic remedy for any kind of flu-type illness. And it's a great remedy for flus. So the keynotes for arsenicum are restlessness with the fever or with anything, anxiety and restlessness. So we have other remedies where like the person's got the flu and they're just like completely lethargic. Arsenicum is like, I'm gonna die, this fever's gonna kill me, they can't get comfortable, they're constantly moving, vomiting, diarrhea. Where apis was hot burning pains that are better with cold, arsenicum has hot burning pains that are better with heat. So I think I had COVID a couple of years ago, and that was the remedy I was using. I was here in Mexico, it was like 40 degrees, it was boiling hot, and I was in so much pain. And what was helping me were like boiling hot showers at the same time. So that was an arsenic state. What else can I tell you about arsenicum that I'm not remembering? So restlessness, thirsty, and they're cold, but they want small sips, like not the big gulps, but constant small sips of water. It's an amazing remedy for headaches, relief of heat, cold applications, want to be covered. I think I talked about all of that. This is also an important remedy for asthma. Like asthma with intense panic, arsenicum, it's also a great cough remedy. So it's nice to have just, if you have these three remedies, you can do so much. You can address so many different issues.
What is good for dizziness?
For dizziness?
Someone that is
It depends. If we're talking about a flu with dizziness, we have a remedy called gelsemium. It's just dizzy. Yeah, it depends. There's lots of remedies for dizziness. But you want to find out what the source of the dizziness is.
nervous.
Okay. Yeah, do all kinds of things.
Okay.
Like why is their nervous system activated? How are they understanding? Like, what is it? Fear? Is it stress? Is it what's going on into all of that?
Really deep.
Yeah, that's the thing with chronic states. They take a lot more work than acute prescribing. And I wanted to share with you guys. I've got like a few minutes left. 5 minutes. So, does anyone live around here or in hot mosquito-infested areas? So there are a lot of cases of dengue right now. Yeah, a lot of cases. So I wanted to bring a remedy that's an amazing prophylactic and treatment for dengue. And it's Eupatorium perforatum. So again, easy to get in any pharmacy. I brought some if anybody wants. Come talk to me. And you take a dose a week for 3 weeks. And it's an amazing preventative for dengue. So I was filming in Cuba, and when I was there, they were having a crazy dengue epidemic. My daughter actually ended up getting dengue there. And they brought in, it was really amazing, like the Cuban military has homeopaths that work there. And they brought in their top homeopaths to this place where I was filming called the Finley Institute, which is a pharmacy that's dedicated to disease prevention. And so they're like the manufacturer of vaccines in the country. And they brought like all the top doctors, they came in and they talked about trying to find what's the right remedy for this dengue epidemic. And this was all these top secret meetings. It was really cool. Maps on how it's spreading, what the symptom picture is. And then they brought all these people who at the Institute had had dengue so they could talk about their symptoms. The homeopaths all came together and yes, eupatorium was one of the remedies that they came up with. So it's also called bone set.
Comfrey.
Fever wort?
Is it comfrey?
No.
No, okay.
No, that is some phytum. So it's like the keynote, it doesn't matter if it's dengue or not, any flu with really severe bone pain, that's what gives dengue, that's its keynote symptom, is a lot of pain in the joints and the bones. Just hit eupatorium and usually it'll help. Yeah. Restless, worse cold, the movement doesn't relieve pain. They don't perspire with the fever, and they want cold drinks in their thirst.
So bone set grows wild in Texas, and I have some dried out. And I'm curious what the difference between like an herbalist dosage and a homeopathic dosage would be.
Right. So I started at the top of that. Does anyone want to explain what happened? Did my students learn?
The times it is diluted, the remedy.
So homeopathy is almost on an energetic level, and we take the plant and it goes through this process of serial dilution and succussion, which is an agitation. So what we have found now, to talk about the mechanism for the last minute here, is that there are actually source material nanoparticles of really high dilutions that we can see in electron microscopes. There's also physicists working on the idea of quantum domains as like these energy packets and information that the water ends up retaining.
Well, I guess if I could refine the question, for a home practice, I guess I'm asking like how diluted, whereas making
like
a
if
cup
you were
of
going to
tea
make the remedy
versus,
yourself?
yeah, like would I dilute it 100 times, a cup of tea
You would
100
go
times?
to a 30 to a 200, so you go through the process 30 to 200 times.
30 to 200 times, okay.
If you guys want to learn more, if you're intrigued, come talk to me. I'm launching a new course in January, and it's called Off Grid with Homeopathy. So you'll learn all about the different remedies, different pathologies, how to select a remedy, how to choose your potency, and it's a 6-month course to make you a very skilled home practitioner.
Step through the portal.